If you want to see 10 great tourist attractions in the Northern Territory, watch this. Brilliantly hosted tours of massive tranquil bodies of water teeming with wildlife. Gorges so majestic they take your breath away. Expertly designed tours of Darwin's unique history. Lazy warm water currents that carry you underneath lush foliage. If you're planning to travel in the Territory, here's 10 things you should do. At the end of this video, I'll show you more things to do, but here's 10 you should definitely do. Yellow Water Tour, an enjoyable, interesting and informative way to see the waters of Kakadu. We've booked the dawn tour because we love getting up early? No, because the effect of the dawn light makes a great trip even better and the wildlife are very active at dawn. A message from the guide. Stand by. If you fall overboard, don't worry. We'll throw you a lifebuoy. It's useless because the crocs will have attacked you before the lifebuoy arrives. Fortunately, we carry a net to gather the remnants of your body. A funny man. This humour continues throughout the tour, but it's housed inside a mountain of information about the history, the animals, the plants, and the daily life on the water, how they all interact. About 30 kilometres out of Katherine, we gather to get on the boat tour of Katherine Gorge in the Nitmiluk National Park. In 1994, the Northern Territory government produced a commercial known as the "You'll Never Never Know If You Never Never Go." This was largely shot in the Nitmiluk National Park, and you'll see some of the gorges that were used in the footage of that commercial. The scenery is magnificent, and it's no wonder it was used in the commercial. This is a boat tour because the boat can't go all the way because the water level wasn't high enough. So we have to leave one boat, manoeuvre our way across the rocks and get onto a second boat that has been taken there when the water was high enough to continue into the second gorge. It's a spectacular tour. As well as the setting for the Never Never Know commercial, the Nitmiluk Gorge was also the setting for the film Jeddah, the first film shot in colour in Australia. These cliffs were used as the backdrop for the end of the film. We spent 2 days walking along the edges of tranquil billabongs, beautiful waterholes and fast-flowing and noisy waterfalls. There are lots of well-maintained and picturesque campsites managed by the national parks available in the Litchfield National Park. They were all booked out when we got there, and of course they're unpowered. So we stayed in the Bachelor Caravan Park, which is on the edge of the Litchfield National Park. We can just take a 1.4 kilometre return walk, which is, as you can see, 700 metres down to the plunge pool. So that's what we're about to do, start the walk down to the plunge pool and hopefully have a swim. Hey, more?
Yep.
And here we are at the plunge pool. This is Bully Waterhole, which is really beautiful and would be a lovely place to swim, but there weren't really any easy access or egress points out of the water. It'd be pretty slippery rocks for us, so we've decided to give that a miss. And soon we're at Tabletop Swamp. And here's the swamp in the background. Very, very tranquil, hey? Just trying to show the reflections in the water, only broken by the tiny ripples made, I think, by either insects in the water or something falling in the water from the trees, but it is still just so beautiful. These are termite nests in the park. You can see that there's 2 flat sides and 2 narrow sides. The termites have an inbuilt compass system which allows them to build the nest so the sun only shines on the narrow ends, not the flat ends, thus keeping their nest cool. Amazing. And here's a larger nest which I estimated to be 5 metres tall. Unbelievable building in the animal kingdom. Well, this is the big moment. Maur's been waiting for this for years. She's been wanting to go to the Tiwi Islands, and here we are at the ferry terminal already. Can't wait. What do you think, Maur?
Looking forward to it.
Okay. A 90-minute ferry ride between Darwin and Bathurst Island, the Tiwi Island to which we're going. Met by the locals, we're introduced to the traditional dance and are soon showing our best dance moves, or maybe not. walking through a cleansing fire, lit by a firelighter bought from Bunnings. That's the locals' joke, not mine. We start a tour of the community which leads us to this old Catholic church.
In about 6 years' time, this church will be 100 years old, and it's thought that it will be World Heritage listed. Once that happens, it'll be fenced off and you won't be able to go inside because it is starting to fall into disrepair. This radio shack over here, from which the first message about the Japanese bombing was sent, well, that radio shack and this presbytery on the other side of this piece of grass to the church, so the church, the radio shack and the presbytery make up a sort of a triangle. All three of those buildings were used in the film Australia. Notice the street direction sign post is all decorated, painted in the local art form. The thing that has struck me already in only a couple of hours on this island is how artistic the people are in all forms of art. It's quite amazing. Print, paint, ceramics, sculpture. It's a real artist colony. I'm loving it.
We become the beneficiaries of that artistic background when we're allowed to choose either a tablecloth or a t-shirt and get help in screen printing a design of our choice onto the fabric. It was a great experience. The Tiwi Islands is home to many great athletes, especially AFL footballers, and part of the island's extensive museum is dedicated to these players. All too soon, it's time to leave the islands after a magnificent day and start the 2-hour ferry ride back to Darwin.
Message coming through from Melbourne. Huge flood of bombers overhead. Bound for Darwin.
It's probably nothing. It's just the Yanks coming back.
This much wartime activity, there's bound to be a military museum, and there is.
We have just spent about an hour and a half at the Darwin Military Museum and having a really good look at the Darwin war experience. Lots of very, very good audio-visual displays and some really good exhibits with a self-guided audio tour. It's been a great experience.
Now, if you're enjoying these travel tips and you want to see more, especially of our trip to the Pilbara, which will be in a soon-to-be-released video, it's probably best that you subscribe by hitting the button below.
This is a 1942-1943 Studebaker built by the Americans and brought over to Darwin to assist in the war effort. We've just had the most fantastic tour around Darwin about the war and about the history of Darwin. It's been sensational.
Evidence of the war is still visible, as you can see here, these bullet holes caused by the Japanese fighters. What do you do when the enemy is bombing your above-ground fuel tanks? You build underground tunnels.
We are inside the oil tunnels, which were designed underground. This is the inside of one of the tanks. This is 84 yards long. It's a magnificent piece of engineering. The irony is they were never used for the original purpose.
Mindil Beach sunset markets, held twice a week in the late afternoons, attracts a huge crowd. It has entertainment.
Hey everybody, let's have some fun.
There are all sorts of stalls: clothing, jewellery, health products, arts and crafts, leatherworkers, massage therapists, woodworkers, tourist operators, to name but a few. There's something for everybody at these markets. Food stalls are plenty, selling mainly Asian cuisine and lots of beautiful places to eat. As the name suggests, Mindil Beach Sunset Market, the day ends when the crowd gathers on the beach to applaud the sun as it sets on the horizon. The Darwin Heritage Walk, booked through the Darwin Information Centre, is a cracker of a walk. For a little over 2 hours and walking only about 3 kilometres, we were provided with information about the culture, the history, the personalities, the architecture of Darwin. It's a great tour, well managed.
This afternoon, I'm quite excited because we are in one of the places I really, really love. Daily Waters. For some reason, this place is just magic. We pulled up about 12:30. We're in a site not very far from the pub. We booked in for dinner at 6:30. We're going down to happy hour. We're going for a wander around the town, which is full of old historical vehicles and all sorts of stuff, just interesting stuff. But it's just a lovely park and a lovely climate, lovely environment. This is the environment we're in. Trees, birds, shade, sunshine. It's beautifully warm, a little bit of perspiration, but it's just a top spot. I really love it. As I said, of all the places we've been in Australia, this for some reason is one of my favourites.
Waters is full of quirky signs, animals and vehicles.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and already the place has a real buzz about it. I just love this pub. It's got a special vibe, a lot of richness in this pub. Later on there will be country and western singing up there, and there's a rumour that I'm part of the act. Just a rumour. Been down to the pub for a drink, had a look around the town, come back, had a little rest, got ourselves organised, and we're going down for the famous barra and steak meal at about 6:15. And some local country and western music. Can't wait. Hoping to be part of the floor show actually. We are walking into the Daly Waters pub directly from the caravan park to have dinner. Music's already started. Look at the mob.
With lots of palm trees, sheep and kangaroo, clothesline out the back, veranda out the front, and an old rocking chair.
Well, dinner time at the pub and we are waiting for the beef and barra. And it is certainly worth waiting for. Have a look at this. It was delicious. Probably the best barramundi I've ever eaten. Just a great experience. The Daly Waters pub is a great example of an outback pub where the owners have gone to great trouble, great care and great expense to make an unbelievably hospitable experience.
We're walking along the path to Bitter Springs. Very shady, very beautiful. This is the observation deck, about part way down the Bitter Springs Creek. You can see people on their noodles. They've walked in at one end and the current's dragging them down. That's going to be us in a minute. We've just finished 3 laps of this Bitter Springs, and this is another of those best experiences. This is just beautiful. You get in at one end probably, I don't know, 150 metres away, and the current just drags you down through this environment, and then you get out at these steps. We did it 3 times. Beautiful, clear water. You can see the bottom. It's a natural bottom. This was really special.
And there's more to see. The Cutta Caves, the Catherine Museum, the Tolma Viewing Deck Walk, and Nathan Whippy Griggs. Well, there's a lot of really interesting things to do in the Northern Territory. I hope you enjoy it as much as we did.